honesty doesn't close doors. All the contrary, it opens better doors that we had before.
Welcome, my lovely people, to another fabulous episode of the B2B Sales Trends podcast. Today's topic is interesting. In sales, we talk a lot about pipeline, process, performance. But underneath all of this sits really one thing that you can't fake, and that is trust. It's the currency everything else is really built on, and in the world of partnerships and channel ecosystems, it's also one of the hardest things to scale. Today, I'm joined by Blanca Galletero. I hope I pronounced that name right, Blanca. She's the VP of EMEA Channels at SentinelOne, a leader who's built really a great career providing that transparency and predictability and really soft skills, their competitive advantages. So I'm super skilled. And today we'll explore what real transparency looks like when the pressure is on, why saying no sometimes can be the ultimate trust builder, and how leaders create credibility across entire ecosystems. Welcome to the B2B Sales Trends podcast, Blanca.
Thank you so much. It is truly a privilege and an honor to be here with you today. Thank you.
Absolutely. The privilege is all mine. Blanca, you've built a remarkable career leading channel ecosystems across Europe, balancing the priorities of, vendors, partners, and customers. For those who might not know your story, can you share a bit about your journey and what has shaped the way you lead today?
Absolutely. So thank you so much for this opportunity. So let me share with the audience here that I have been super fortunate to be able to work across some of the world's most transformative technology companies. Okay. Back in 1998, I started working for a company that used to sell books over the internet called Amazon, and here we are, right? I've been very lucky to be in fun places at fun times like Microsoft, Oracle, Salesforce, and now SentinelOne in cybersecurity. I will say that what shaped me most was not the technology itself, but what it taught me about people. And I guess that when we talk about trust, this is what we are going to be talking about here, right? I learned that leadership is not about hierarchy. It's about connection, empathy, and clarity of purpose. And that's the lens that I bring to everything that I do, especially today, right? With all the changes that we have seen in technology, we have seen that technology can change really, really fast, but relationships are what make success last. And my trusted network is the biggest asset I have after 25 years in the industry.
Love it. Thank you for that great introduction, Blanca. It's interesting. Every company says they value transparency, and you referred to that earlier. Everybody says they value it, but few live it when things get difficult and when things get tough. How have you learned to turn transparency from one of those typical buzzwords out there into an everyday practice for yourself and your teams?
So let me share, first of all, before we go into transparency, what trust is for me, because transparency is one of the magic ingredients of trust, right? And you mentioned about trust becoming the currency, and I fully agree with that, right? But trust is kind of like a very high level concept. How do you materialize trust, right? To me, trust is the combination of transparency plus predictability. And this is what allows you to create long-lasting relationships with stakeholders, employees, partners, family, etc. Transparency, only works when it is practiced, it's not preached, okay? And so many times we see, in vision and mission and values, the word transparency, but this is about leading by example. For me, what that means is showing my team the full picture, the wins, the losses, and the trade-offs behind a decision, right? Of course, there is information that sometimes you cannot share, but never lie. When people see that honesty is respected and not punished, I think that people really appreciates that, and that builds a culture where transparency becomes second nature. So to me, transparency is something that cannot live in a deck. It's how you show up every day for your team.
Right. And especially in a sort of an interconnected partner network, one broken, promise or one broken, piece in a conversation sometimes can ripple through many different relationships. What have you seen when that foundation of trust starts to break down, and how do you prevent it from really going viral and spreading, basically?
I fully agree. I mean, when trust breaks, it's not just a crack. It's a chain reaction, right? And we can see that sometimes relationships that have taken years to build break in one single conversation. Okay. And to me, when trust erodes, alignment follows. So people tries to protect themselves instead of protecting the mission. Okay. And that's definitely counterproductive. Okay. In an ecosystem, the ripple effect can be felt immediately, sometimes even faster than in one-to-one relationships. To me, the key to address this is to act fast and furious, right? It's about addressing it as fast as possible. To me, silence fuels doubt, but
Right.
clarity rebuilds confidence. So you need to have candid conversations early on. And sometimes, having this candid conversation at the right time is worth more than 100 attempts to repair a relationship later. I hope I answered your question. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. And it's interesting, when markets are sort of a little volatile, people crave a certain, steadiness, a certain stability, not perfection, but predictability in a way. How do you create that sense of predictability in how you communicate and deliver so that your partners know exactly what to expect from your organization?
Love that question, Harry. Thank you. That is my second magic ingredient. Remember, trust, was built with transparency and predictability, right? To me, our partners should never have to guess where they are standing. Okay, it should be public. We should focus on consistency. And how do we do that, right? Consistent communication, timelines, follow through. Even when the answer is not yet, the partners understand and they know that they can rely on us to be transparent and honest. I think that this is how we can earn long-term loyalty. I think that trust is built when people can predict how you are going to behave, not just when things go well. Okay, so trust to me is built sometimes in really tough times.
Hey, a quick pause here, because if you're leading a sales team right now, you will want to hear this. We've just released our new report, the 26 Sales Trends for 2026. It's pulled from the conversations we've had with senior leaders on this very podcast. The themes, the shifts, and the realities shaping how customers buy and how teams need to sell in the new year. It's practical, it's concise, and it's built to help you make better decisions faster. You can download it for free at the link in this description box or at globalperformancegroup.com. Now let's get back to the conversation. It's a really good one.
And leading through this, and you have a particular leadership style that you advocate in a way, and leading through influence instead of this hierarchy, as you mentioned, means really your reputation is your leverage in a way. How do you build and maintain this credibility across such a wide ecosystem where success really depends on this shared accountability?
Thank you. I think when you want to start leading, okay, I think that the first thing that you need to realize is that you don't lead. anything. You don't lead an ecosystem. You don't lead a team. You earn the right to lead an ecosystem or to lead a team. Okay. So to me, how do you start this? To me, it starts by listening. You cannot lead an ecosystem from headquarters. Okay. You need to basically get down, have conversations. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We need to listen double than we speak. Okay. And I think that you need to build it by understanding what success looks like for your partners and what success looks like for them. Of course, and this is how you build what success looks like for you. Then it is about share accountability, joint business plans, clear goals, open metrics between the sides, celebrating joint wins, definitely celebration there. To me, credibility grows when you consistently show up for your partners, not just, to review KPIs, but when, and I think I said it before, sometimes tough times are really good opportunities to build on trust and to convert challenges into opportunities.
It's interesting. I remember in our preparation call for this recording, you connected courage a lot with credibility. And there's a sort of a special kind of courage in saying, we're not the perfect fit for this. We're not right for this. And it feels risky, but often it earns more respect than sort of a polished pitch that people do, right? Can you share an example or a moment when that kind of honesty actually strengthened a partnership instead of weakening it? I think that will be interesting to understand.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, sometimes saying no is your most powerful way to strengthen a relationship, okay? Because that sends boundaries. Right. So let me share an example. For example, we once had a partner exploring a segment which was outside of our sweet spot, right? And of course, you always want, to say yes to everybody. And especially when you are building ecosystems, right, you want to find a place for everybody. But right, instead of trying to stretch the fit for each other too far, I decided to be honest. And I said, listen, we, 1 out of 10, we are probably on this specific topic, we are probably a 6, but we are not a 10. And because I respect you, I am more than happy to connect you with another vendor that is better aligned to what you need right now. Okay. Wow. And that honesty built real respect between the sides, and destiny, sometimes, creates those situations in which months later, they brought us an ideal deal because they knew that we will put integrity before opportunism. Okay. And that was a very important customer for them. And they wanted to be surrounded by somebody that they could trust. And this is how it basically the situation turned around. To me, honesty doesn't close doors. All the contrary, it opens better doors that we had before. So that's what I would like to share.
Very interesting, and I know you're a very inspirational leader to the teams around you, and I really believe that people learn by watching how leaders behave, how they handle pressure, how they engage with clients. What do you do as a leader to make this trust visible and real for your teams? Is there anything in particular that you can point to and share with our audience that says, here are the things that I do to really make this seen by my teams?
Yeah, I think I already anticipated, some of the things there, but what I will say, how can we make, trust visible? From my personal point of view, what I do is I share context behind every major decision, okay? And when I share context and I share the decision, I always say that it's been my decision. Because sometimes we tend to maybe, say, well, headquarters has decided this, right? I think that people really appreciate when you say, hey, this is the guideline that we got from headquarters. And this is the context behind why I am making this decision. And I want everybody to know that I am standing behind that decision.
Right.
Okay? So it's my decision. I invite disagreement always. I always try, I don't believe that sometimes, my idea is the best idea. So before I come to the point to make, a final decision, I invite disagreement. And I also admit when I don't have all the answers to everything, because I think that nobody does really. And then I make sure that, once the decision is being made, when we achieve the first win, because of the decision that we took jointly together, I make sure that credit goes where it is due. Okay. And when people see that you do this, they start to lead the same way that you do, with openness and respect. So what I will say is, if you want a culture of trust, you have to model this culture when no one is watching. So again, this is not something to be put on a slide. This is something to basically live, and especially in quiet moments. Okay. So it's not something to be demonstrated constantly in front of the team. The team, they can perceive when you are, taking your time, having a think about it, consulting the team, and then coming up with a decision, and they start doing the same. This is my recipe.
Yeah, nice. And a lot of the times there are things when leaders especially get tested. When things are not going to plan, when there is a trust that something wobbles a little bit in a way because it's a difficult moment. How do you respond to this? Because I do really believe how you respond to bad situations is really what defines a lot. What have you been doing when such a defined moment comes where things not going to plan? And what did it teach you about leading through this sort of uncertainty of the situation?
Yeah. So let me give you an example, as we did before, with this, when we said no, right? So, for example, I remember very, very especially, a few years ago, two teams lost trust after a deal went sideways. And I'm talking about, a sales team and a partner team. Okay. And they were going into completely opposite directions, the spectrum. Okay. I tried to fix the process, because I thought maybe that has been provoked because the process is not the right process and we need to improve the process. But the real issue was relationships. It most of the time is, okay.
Yeah, right.
So my decision was, okay, we need to reset absolutely everything. Okay. I brought everyone together and I tried to reconnect on purpose, not on performance. Okay. So I think that sometimes you need to put people back together, kind of like remove, all the biases that have been created, and try to build together a new purpose, a new vision that creates emotion in both sides. Okay. So this situation taught me that trust is not managed through systems. It is rebuilt through shared intent. So whenever that happens, I always try to kind of like reset, find a joint vision, which is created by all the individuals which have participated. Because this is, trust is, I repeat what I said before, trust is not a KPI. It's a daily choice that you make for the right purpose that creates emotion for you, right? So you need to reconnect with that. And it worked. It worked in this situation, and it has worked in several other occasions in which I have been in the middle of a conflict.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say. I mean, and I'm curious in sort of how does technology play into this? Because tech can give us a lot of things, right? It can give us data, it can give us speed, it can give us reach, it can give us scale and all these things. But what it can't give us is sort of that trust equation of it. That still sits with us humans, right? So how do you see the role of trust evolving as, AI and automation really transform how we sell and partner?
I love that question, because I think, Harry, we are right now in one of the most interesting chapters in history, honestly, where we have the opportunity to create digital humanism that celebrates authenticity. So from my point of view, what I see is automation is going to start handling a lot more the mechanics of the job that we have to do. Okay. But trust will remain the multiplier in there. So trust is going to be the secret sauce in there. In fact, as AI becomes more embedded, people is going to start putting even a higher premium on authenticity. I think that the future of sales is not human versus machine. It's human trust amplified by technology. And this is what we can see nowadays. We see that really sales individuals are individuals which are embracing technology to actually, create trusted relationships, I would say faster, okay, and stronger. So
Yeah.
I think that ecosystems are going to be thriving where this balance is understood. I think automation can always scale processes, but trust can scale relationships. And I think that this is the currency. We will come back to what you said at the beginning. I fully agree on that.
Love it. Human trust. Sales is going to be human trust amplified by technology. I'm going to steal this from you if that's okay with you, because I love that. And I fully agree, by the way. In our industry, we talk a lot about, where does sales go? Where salespeople, B2B selling, will it still exist? Will it be replaced and all this? And I fully agree. It's going to remain human because of that trust element that we need to foster and build with our customers, with our partners. And those relationships, it's just not something that can be replaced and can be amplified by technology. So I really like this. Blanca, that's fantastic. We're almost at the end of it. Are you up for a quick lightning round, a quick fire question?
Of course.
Great. Let's do a quick audit here, something every sales team could use. And we have a lot of sales leaders and salespeople listening to this. So if you were running a quick trust audit on a B2B sales team, what should they start, stop, and keep doing to earn credibility faster? Start doing, stop doing, and keep doing to earn credibility faster.
Okay, so start. I will say start communicating outcomes, not activity. Stop. Stop over promising or spinning bad news. Negative energy creates more negative energy, I will say. And over promising creates negative energy for you, because then sometimes you cannot deliver. And you know what? When you manage expectations in the right way, everybody understands that. So stop over promising or spinning bad news. And then keep, okay? You said start, stop, and keep. And keep showing up consistently, even when there is nothing to sell. To me, in my sales career, trust is built when you are visible, even when there is not a deal on the table. Because what you are selling is many times, is not the value or the product. You are selling yourself, right? So sometimes we need to keep going to see our customers and our partners and show up, make ourselves visible, even when it seems that we are not selling anything.
I love that. And I sign this every day. I had so many examples in my career too. When there is a deal to be won, everybody is always there, right? But once it goes a little bit sour, and then to reach out, then to show and help clients and relationships to progress, that's what ultimately wins it for you. I fully agree with that. I love that. We always ask this question too. What are the top 3 qualities that make someone truly trustworthy in business, in your opinion?
That's a difficult one, right? But I'm gonna give it a go, and then I would love to hear also your take on that. I will say, for me, integrity,
Yeah.
consistency, and humility. Okay. Why? Let me tell you why. Integrity, to me, integrity helps you to earn belief from the other side.
Uh,
Consistency earns reliability, and humility earns connection.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely. Fully
What
agree.
is your take? What is your take, Harry?
No, I was just thinking of what I could add to this, but I can't really add anything to it because it's spot on. I think it's spot on. What are you doing when your laptop is closed? What's your favorite way of switching off and recharging?
Okay, so I think, like many of us, family is my reset button, really. I mean, my daughters and my husband keep me grounded. I can assure you that. And our dog ensures I never skip a walk, and it's great because being outdoors helps me to clear my mind, reminds me that even in leadership, the most important work often happens quietly while you are with yourself. Okay, so I would say nature, family, and a bit of quiet. That's where I recharge trust in myself.
I love it, Blanca. You are an absolute superstar. My lovely people, what stood out for me today in this conversation with Blanca is that trust isn't a strategy. It's really a discipline, and you can't automate it. You can't shortcut it, and you certainly can't fake it. It's built one honest conversation at a time through consistency, predictability, transparency, and follow through. And when you lead teams or partnerships that span continents or cross continents, that kind of trust isn't just a nice to have. It's the difference between momentum and stall. If this episode made you rethink how you show up for your partners or your teams, share it with a colleague, subscribe to it on the B2B Sales Trends.com or our YouTube channel, wherever you listen for. You can find more episodes at B2B salestrends.com and on our YouTube channel. Until the next time, Blanca, you've been an absolute superstar. Thank you so much for your contribution. And to our lovely listeners, until the next time, look after yourself, your loved ones, and of course, your B2B customers. All the best.